My speech ties in nicely with Josie's because mine is on confidence, which is similar to what she's talking
Hey,
about.
listen, the discussion at the beginning was only a minute long, so I still hit 6
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Nice.
Good.
Good job. Okay, mine might be short. I'm not sure, or it could be long. So we're gonna get an accurate gauge of that. So, all right. So, a month ago, I was driving up to here from my home to Allegheny, and I was completely nervous. I was counting the exit signs like there was no tomorrow. Saw Meadville getting closer and closer on the signs, and I was completely nervous. The exit signs seemed to be passing by as quickly as the summer days before, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm leaving my parents, I'm leaving my family, I'm going into a completely new place. And as I exited off the Meadville exit, my stomach was jittering, my palms were sweating, and this was a complete overreaction, as I soon realized later. But maybe you can contribute it to nerves, but it was definitely because of a lack of confidence. Whenever my parents finally left and I was sitting in an empty room, I kind of felt alone. I felt a bit scared, and I was like, but I made a promise to myself. I was going to be like, this is when I turn myself around and start becoming more confident and pursue new friends and join clubs and do all this stuff. And that is one of the main things you get out of college, is that you start to grow in confidence, because the new environment that you're subjected to forces you to go outside of your original environment that you lived in. I lived in the same place for basically the first 18 years of my life, and now I'm in this new place with new people. So the way this ties in, Cronon, famous author, he wrote an article about liberal arts education and what it can do to help people out, and he made a bunch of points. But some of the few that I found interesting were his fourth, his third, and his eighth point. And I list these out of order because each one leads to each other. So the fourth point had to do with writing passionately and writing through your emotions, but also in a way that can communicate well with other people. This led into his third point about communicating with people confidently and being able to talk with anyone, which also leads to his eighth point, in that putting what you say into action and actually doing what you go out to say that you will do. So really what this has to do with levels of confidence. It takes just a minimal level of confidence to write something down that you believe is true. It may not even be attributed to you, but as you speak that, it's usually what it comes from you. It's part of your personal opinion. People see that as your opinion, so you have to be more confident to say it. And even past that, you have to be more confident to do it. This kind of relates to my speech for class president, and that the speech I gave a week ago is absolutely horrible. I wrote the whole thing out on a piece of paper, word for word, did not memorize it, did not do anything, and I just read it off to a group of people. And even though I believe my ideas for our class were better than the others, I definitely did not communicate it in a persuasive way, and I would attribute this to a lack of confidence. I didn't have the confidence to know my views, to stick to them, to not read off the paper, but to communicate with others. So my transitions are horrible. Summary essays, like for example, the summary essays that we did, we learned how to write being succinct but persuasive. The speaking opportunities such as this one, we have opportunities to grow in our experience, because the best way to speak better as a person and communicate with others is through experience. And then we also have chances to, in our classes, to inspire us, and to inspire us to do work and use that work to grow in confidence. And that leads me to Scary's book on beauty and being just, and that she spoke about mistakes that we make in error and how this grows us closer to beauty and this grows us closer to truth. And I believe that truth also ties in with confidence, and that if you believe that you're being truthful, you're also confident in what you're saying. One of the things that has happened to me, one of the errors that I've made with truth that happened recently was inverse functions. When I first learned inverse functions in calculus, it was a tough time because I didn't know how they worked on the page mathematically, but Professor Labello just a week ago laid it out first by drawing a picture. So he drove a graph of a function and then its inverse, and it was beautiful how they were symmetric, and how it just started to make sense, how it's just reflected over a line. Blake's in my class, so you can speak to that. But yeah, so it's and it made me want to study inverse functions more, to want me to get better at it and study for it for the test and do well on the test because of that. And I may have not had that passion to do it if I had not seen the different way it was laid out, which is also something that has to do with the liberal arts education, and that you teachers, or usually you're communicated in multiple ways to, so like people teach stuff in different ways in a liberal arts education, and you teach the same thing in different ways, and usually one of those ways sticks with someone, like it did with me for the picture, that I was inspired to do it mathematically and therefore get the right answer. And when you get right answers, it leads you to confidence. When it comes to Allegheny itself as a college, the intimate environment that we have here with so few students on campus, and like my high school class is the same size as our class here at college, which I find kind of crazy. But it forces you to communicate with people, forces you to get out and meet people in your class. It also forces you to participate in all the clubs that we have available. When I was in high school, I usually did mostly sports. I did soccer and track, and I kind of blew off the other like academic clubs because I was like, I already have schoolwork, I love soccer and I love track, and I might as well just stick to those and not worry about schoolwork itself and not have to pile on more academic stuff with the clubs I'll have to do. But I realized through soccer that it wasn't very constructive. For example, every time we would win a game, I would feel completely joyful, I would be confident in myself, but all it takes is, even after a string of 10 wins, all it takes is one loss for it to be struck down in one blow. And that's what happened my senior year. We went all the way to the Whitfield finals, and then we lost in double overtime, and that was very sad. And that's really, when I think about soccer, that might be the first thing that comes to my mind, which it shouldn't be. I mean, I should think back on all the happy memories I made as teammates, but instead I think about my emotions after we lost that game, and everyone was in tears and everyone's crying, and yes, it was just a sad time. But the thing with clubs, I think you can get more constructive feedback. Soccer is a game full of emotions, sports are games full of emotions, but in a club you can build adequate leadership experience through, if you make a mistake, it's not regarded in as big as a deal, I believe, as it would be in sports. You have a chance to grow from that mistake. It's not in the playoff game, it's all over once you lose the game. You have no second chance, but you have second chances to improve upon yourself here at Allegheny. So that's why I chose clubs here over sports. So I've been getting involved in different clubs. And I did get an offer to play for the soccer team and try out, but I decided not to because of that reason. In closing, I believe college is where we explore interests, we grow in ourselves, and we gain confidence. So not only are we coming out of college more academically prepared to go into society or grad school and excel there, but we're also, as a person, we grow in ourselves, we grow and trust in ourselves, and therefore we grow in confidence. So when I take the exit road out of Meadville and back onto I-79, I want to be looking forward to the road ahead as a road of a bright future instead of a road of anxiety, as I did a couple months ago. Thank you. I have work to do.